Hey guys, welcome to the Valley TV and get ready for the biggest announcement ever.
Hey, I'm so ready for that announcement. I saw Liam Partridge in the chat before we started, and I am so excited to see you. Whew. That's definitely not the song, Mikey. We're doing Let Go.
Close my eyes and colors fly. There's no hiding from your grace. I can't deny your heart from mine, and its unrelenting chase. I was on the edge of deception, caught up in my own hesitation, until your love took over. Supposed to be an oasis, here awaits us all the freedom I'll ever need. Now I'm alive. Oh la la, oh la la. When I let go, then I find life. Oh la la, oh la la. When I let go, then I find life. The highway is calling me to a life unlike before. The Father's heart is beckoning, and I can't resist no more. Lead me in the ways of devotion. Don't wanna get caught in the motions. My heart is only for you, Lord. So I let go and I let love show me life like it's supposed to be. An oasis, here awaits us all the freedom I'll ever need. Now I'm alive. Oh la la, oh la la. When I let go, then I find life. Oh la la, oh la la. When I let go, then I find life. When I let go, then I find life. So I let go and I let
if you could all just bow your head and close your eyes. Lord, I want to thank you for tonight. I want to thank you that, there's a small group of us here, but I want to thank you that we can come back together, that we can form those relationships again, and we can just be in each other's presence. Lord, I want to pray for those of you that are at home watching this online, or even if you're not, I want to pray that, something in your life, it gets to you. God speaks to you in some way, whether that be through this episode or through a song or through something you see on the TV. I just want to pray that God will get to you. I want to thank everyone that keeps coming to this and keeps staying tuned, and I hope that you can learn something from anything that anyone does here. I just want to pray that for the rest of the night, you all have a very God-filling night. Maybe pick up the Bible, or you read a verse, just listen to a song, just listen to this episode over and over, and just maybe pray for your friends, or pray for your family, pray for someone that's sad or sick or unwell. Lord, I want to thank you for guiding most of us. I know a lot of people through this time, are at home, not at school. Some could be at school now. I mean, most people are, but I just want to pray that you continue to guide them. Amen.
Well, we have got some big news. Huge news. Huge news. Now, we didn't play a game, and we've got a bit of a small team here tonight getting ready to recording this episode, and we're going to record some extra stuff for some future weeks. But I realised that we need to eat. It's always good to eat. It's always good to eat pizza. Now, I love pizza. Now, I want you in your comments. What is your favourite pizza from Domino's? Or maybe you don't even like Domino's. Maybe you like Pizza Inn. Maybe you like Pizza Hut. What is your favourite pizza? I want you to be writing that in the comments right now, because I'm looking at this thing right now, and I've got I love the cheesy garlic with the creme fraiche.
That is not how you say
What
that.
would you say this? Cheesy garlic with creme...
Fresh, not freshy. Yeah, can I get some cream fresh?
Cream
fresh on me
On me
pizza.
pizza. I'm seeing a pepperoni. Now, everyone loves pepperoni. I'm going to get 2 of those. 2 deep pan pepperonis.
Do you know Sienna doesn't like pepperoni?
Too bad. She could have some of the.
Yeah.
She could have some of the creme fraiche. And everyone likes a rip off. Everyone likes a rip off Meat Lovers.
Oh, beef and onion.
Beef and onion. Josh knows exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to go down to the beef and onion. Now, I always get deep pan because you get like twice the pizza. It's going to fill you up more. No, I mean, is it going to be good for you? No.
So
But
bad.
you're already eating pizza, so I'm going to add one of those. Now, I don't have your comments open, so anyone over the side there got the comments open? What are people saying their favourite pizza is? Have we got any comments yet? Nathaniel only eats beef and onion. Only? I only got one of those. What? Do we have a cheese and garlic on the comments? Who? Caitlin Burton, you have picked the best pizza. The best pizza. Isaac Smith says pizza dough. And what did you say? Henry said? Now, you know Henry is rolling in the dosh. Henry, you are rolling in the dollars, mate. If you can afford a barbecue Meat Lovers pizza and decide, I'm just over here ordering $5 pizzas and Henry is ordering a $15 barbecue Meat Lovers. How's that possible, Henry? How is that possible?
Such a rich guy.
And what did Isaac Smith?
That's the
Isaac-
other end of the spectrum, isn't it?
Isaac Smith, I miss you a lot. I cannot wait till youth goes back because I miss you a lot. And the fact that you've written down there that your favourite pizza is pizza dough makes me just think, what a legend. He's a simple man, and that's what we need around here. legends who like pizza dough. I mean, these guys are trying to upsell me. Oh yeah, I shouldn't say my phone number. 0458. Yeah. They tried to upsell me. They tried to say, "Do you want cheesy crust?" Oh yeah, Sienna. Yeah. Henry said his dad pays for it.
Dave Moore. He's the man.
Dave Moore. Dave Moore rolling in that barbecue meat lovers with that barbecue meat lovers.
I'd let Dave Moore buy me a barbecue meat lovers pizza.
Oh, let's have a vote. David Moore, if you're watching, and Henry, feel free. You've got 10 seconds to get the phone in front of your dad. David Moore, we really appreciate you. We think you're a great guy, David Moore. And we're just wondering if you would buy us
some pizza
for
all our youth leaders.
And specifically Lewis.
Because he's kind of poor.
Because we are poor. Oh. Well, David Moore, I hope you got that message. If you're throwing out barbecue meat lover pizzas, we'd love some. We'd love some. Is Zach Bryan online? Did he say a pizza? We're looking through the comments. Lewis on a pizza. I do not want to be on a pizza, David. I do not want to be on a pizza. I'm going to finish out my email. I'm going to put... What is 8 meats?
It's like even more bougie meat lovers.
How many meats are there? How is there 8 meats? Name 8 meats. Beef. Okay, actually, Abby, get up here. Abby's going to come up Abby, would you please name... Oh, you'll have to take the seat. Would you please name 8 meats?
Ham,
What?
bacon, pepperoni, chicken. Wait, what's that? 3, 4,
I've gone up 4 chords.
4.
Keep going.
Prosciutto. Not that.
That's not on a
Not that.
pizza.
What is it? Domino's would have prosciutto, right?
Keep going.
Meat. Surely prawn is a meat.
Yeah.
Oh, cabanossi. Actually, it's Italian sausage. And last one. Is there even another animal?
Like mint.
Surely it's
Like the ground beef.
Oh, ground beef. Oh, ground beef. That only goes in spaghetti, not on a pizza. Anyways, you can have the mic back.
Well, you'll be happy to know KFC on a pizza dough, Henry Moore says, that would be good. You'd happy to know I've ordered the pizzas. Our youth leaders are going to be well fed. David Moore, you don't have to shout us this time around.
Next time, though. That'd
Next
be nice.
time, though.
That'd be
Hey,
nice,
next
Dave.
time, hey. Have you ever felt like you're in the wilderness? I grew up in Biloela, the middle of nowhere. And my favourite thing to do, I had a friend, his name was Caden. This was like my friend in primary school and my friend in, through most of high school there. But he was like my best friend when I was in like year 6 or 7. And he lived on a farm. And my favourite thing to do was we would go to Caden's house. And he had like motorbikes, which were, every year 6 kid loves a motorbike. So we get on the motorbikes. He was obviously very good at motorbikes. I was obviously not very good at motorbikes. But my favorite thing to do would be to go to this farm, and then we would start walking in a certain direction. He lived on a huge property, and we could just walk and walk for ages. And I remember that I would just love walking out into this wilderness of a farm. There's a few cows over here, there's a bit of tree over here, a bit of ground dirt over here. And there was literally nothing, but I really loved sort of being there, walking around the wilderness until I got sick of it. Now you would know this, the further you walk out somewhere, you have to walk that same distance to get home. So you might love it for the first 2 kilometers of walking, but then you get bored. But it's at the point you get bored that you have to walk 2 kilometers back, and it could be the worst 2 kilometers of your life. I remember one time, Caden, in the middle of the wilderness, we'd walked out like 2 kilometers. He'd hate me telling this story, and I haven't asked him permission. I highly doubt he's watching. But he needed to go to the bathroom for a number 2 in the wilderness. I don't know why we're playing the spiritual music, but he needed to go for number 2. And he didn't have anything to wipe with. So he stopped the... What do you do when you're stuck in the wilderness without anything to wipe with? Dare say he got very creative with the nature around him. Use your imagination. What would you do if you were stuck in the wilderness? Don't use your imagination. Although it would be good to know in case you're ever stuck in the wilderness. Wilderness can be a tricky place to be. Youth online has been a bit of a wilderness. You know, to be honest, it's been really interesting and cool to try and find out and discover how we're going to do youth online. It was like when Zoom come out, it was exciting. When the Valley TV come out, it was exciting. And we were walking kilometers, and walking kilometers really, really good. But I think you might be just like me. It gets to a certain point where you've walked out a certain distance, and then you start realizing that Zoom calls are getting really old real quick. And you start to realize that although the Valley TV is fun and it's awesome, you start to miss what youth was really like. And it feels like you're in the wilderness. Maybe you feel like you're in the wilderness because you haven't seen your youth friends in ages or your youth leaders in ages. Maybe you feel like you're in the wilderness because you haven't been around youth, and youth is the place where you worship and you hear about God. And maybe you feel like you're distant from God because you haven't been doing that at home and it's harder to do. Maybe you feel like you're in the wilderness. Well, take heart, because, you know, as a youth pastor, sometimes I feel that way too when the world seems confusing. I know our youth leaders, they feel that way too when the world seems confusing and we don't know what the next step is. At one point in time, God's people, the Israelites in the Old Testament, were walking around the wilderness, and they had to get to their promised land. Now, the promised land, the Bible says the promised land was like a land of milk and honey. So you can imagine these ancient people, God's people in the Old Testament. They're walking around the wilderness. They're hungry. You know, they're eating manna from heaven, which is the same sort of bread every single day. And they're getting a bit old in the wilderness. They were in the wilderness for 40 years. And then God says, you know what? It's time to go back to the promised land. It's time to go into the promised land. And they were excited because everyone knows the promised land. There's milk and there's honey, and it's going to be awesome and it's going to be great. But before they could get to the promised land, they had to defeat 31 kings. If you're at home, say 31 kings. 31 kings. Josh, 31 kings.
31 kings.
Before they could get into the promised land, they had to defeat 31 kings and 31 armies. You know, we're really close to the promised land right now for a youth group. It's like youth on a Friday. That's the promised land, where we're flowing with pizza and
handball.
And I'm trying to think of what honey would be at youth. A land flowing with pizza and handball. That makes sense. A land flowing with pizza and handball. We want to get back to our promised land. But I wonder what it's going to take to get back there. I wonder what kings we have to defeat to get into our promised land. You know, maybe for you, youth online, you felt a bit distant, and maybe you've been doing other things on Friday night, and maybe it's like you've created habits on Friday night, and you're like, oh, but to go back to youth, I wouldn't be able to do the things I'm doing now. Well, maybe that is a king to defeat, the king of complacency. Maybe you've, lost that touch with God, and you feel like guilty because you haven't been praying or reading your Bible or coming to youth and worship, so you feel a bit guilty, you feel a bit distant from God, and like you almost feel a sense of shame. And so when youth comes back, you might not want to come because it's like, oh, I feel distant from God and everyone's going to judge me. Maybe that shame is a king you need to defeat. Maybe you haven't seen your youth friends in ages and you've been hanging out with friends from your school and you've formed good connections and you've sort of lost touch with your youth friends and you're like, if I go back, it's going to be a bit like, I don't know if they'll even like me anymore, and you've got all these doubts. Maybe the king of doubt is a king you need to defeat. Maybe you got one king. Maybe there's 3 kings. For me as a youth pastor, I feel out of practice. I've been doing the Valley TV thing for a while. But there's a doubt inside of me that's like, when we go back, will it be good enough? When we go back, will it be the same? But I know that king of doubt is a king that I need to defeat so that I can walk into my promised land. As a youth pastor, and I'm thinking about youth going back, and I'm thinking about all the restrictions, and I think it's going to be too hard. How are we going to clean everything? How are we going to keep people apart? We can't even sing. What are we going to do? And it's going to be like there's this king of worry. Maybe the king of worry is a king that I need to defeat. What I know is this. The Israelites were able to defeat those 31 kings because they had God with them. And I know that even though when youth comes back, it's going to be daunting. It's going to be different. It could be scary. But I know that if God is with us, we can defeat every king and every enemy that stands in our way. And we can walk into that land flowing with pizza and handball. And youth could be better than it's ever been. So, if you're in the wilderness right now, our announcement is this. We're on our way out of the wilderness, and I'm excited. Here's how it's going to work. So, here's the big announcement. Youth is going to start back first week, term 3, here on site. Are you excited for that, Josh?
So excited.
So excited.
So excited.
So excited.
Whoa.
So excited. First week of term 3. Now, for that to happen, our youth team needs to prepare and do some work. Now, as you know, there's after this week, there's 2 more weeks of youth left after this week. And our youth team wants to do the best preparation to make sure that when you come back in term 3, it's safe, it's good, it's exciting. Now, that means that our youth team needs to have some time to train and practice and prepare. Which means after the Valley TV episodes, tonight and for the next 2 nights, we're not going to do connection sessions in the same way. Some age groups and connect groups might do their connection session. If you know that your connect group leader hasn't contacted you or is going to do a connection session tonight, then you can jump on tonight and we'll put you in a breakout room so that you can still have your connection session. But over the next few weeks, we're going to be planning ways for connect groups to actually happen in houses and in person and different Zoom calls during the week so that our youth leaders can use that time where we would usually have connection session to prepare for what's to come. So that's the first point. Over the next 3 weeks, we won't have connection sessions in the same way, but there will be Valley TV episodes. So for the next 3 weeks, it's going to be exciting. We've got interviews lined up for next week. And the last episode is going to be really awesome because we're actually going to release a new song in the last episode of the term. It's an amazing song. Abby's going to be singing as well, which is really cool. It's going to be good. I'm actually excited for it. It's going to be a few games. It's going to be good. So make sure you tune into Valley TV. But then we're going to have 2 weeks holiday. And after the holidays, that first Friday back, we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure it's a great time. It won't be the same. We're going to do worship different. We're going to do games different. We're going to do connection different. We're going to do preaching different. But this, I promise you, different will be good. Could be a shambles.
Absolute shambles.
But shambles can be good. They're our announcements. I'm pretty excited. If you were to say, young people, what are you most excited for about youth going back? I want to hear it in the comments right now. What are you most excited for about youth going back in person? And I'm a bit worried about what some people might say. What would you say, Josh?
The handball.
The handball. Tell you what, the handball. What about Liam Partridge? To see Liam Partridge face to face. Oh my God, Liam, I can't wait to see you face to face.
What a social distancing sport.
Handball is like, we could be in all the different squares.
It was made for COVID.
Be 1.5 meters apart from each other. Share the...
Nah, sanitizer.
No, 5-second rule if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
hitting it fast. 5-second rule
It's
on
like when
handball.
when you
If
drop your
it-
food on the ground, it's the 5-second rule.
It's
COVID
like if
doesn't
anyone
matter.
holds the handball for 5 seconds, you're out.
You're
It's
out.
like a new
Boom,
rule.
gone.
And you have to sanitize the handball, but 5-second rule. Yes, but from July 1st, you are allowed to play sport and soccer and all that sort of stuff outdoors, so we will be safe to play certain sports.
Isaac Smith says, who's bringing the pizza dough by himself?
Isaac Smith is excited for like pizza dough. That's
Liam Partridge is excited for Josh.
Liam Partridge
What
is
a
excited
guy.
for Josh. Yes.
Zach is excited for Peeps.
Zach is excited for peeps, as in I'm assuming means people.
He might have spelled.
Levi Brundlin. Well, Levi Brundlin, if you don't know Levi, he's in like the intro of this whole Valley TV thing, doing a dunk on those guys. He is doing a dunk on them. Of course, Levi's keen for the basketball. We're going to film him again for the next time we're in lockdown. Henry Moore. Henry Moore wants to know if we can do magic while social distancing. Henry Moore. We can do so much magic. We can play snaps, bro. We can play snaps on everyone.
Snaps is the name of the game.
Snaps is the name of the game. Name of the game is snaps.
That's all I know.
Oh, sorry, Levi. Levi says it's Bruderlin.
Brundlin.
Brundlin. Bruderlin. Brundlin. Why do I put an
Brusdlin.
N in there? There's no N. Why do I keep putting a name with an N? I'm sorry. It's a habit. Habits take like 31 days to break, bro. It's going to be a while. Bruderlin. Is that it? Are we done for the comments? Not Brundlin. Sorry, not Brundlin. Isaac Bruderlin dunking on all those fools.
Isaac Brusdlin.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting so confused. I just need you all to be back in person. I can't wait for term 3. Term 3 is going to be awesome. I think we're going to close off right now. I'm very excited. If you know that your Connect group leader's still got to do connection session, jump on. I'll put you into rooms. But if you know that your Connect group leader's not doing a connection session tonight, then I'm sure you've organised something in person, or I'm sure you've organised something in a Zoom on a different day of a week. But yeah, let's see what we got here. Leave it. I was about to call you Levi.
Liam Brundlin.
Liam Brundlin.
Thanks for watching the Valley TV, guys. Just to say again that Zoom isn't on unless your connection session leaders have said so. But other than that, have a good night, and yeah, see you next time.
Down.